What's up, guys? Okay, so I've got a couple questions on the kind of, gear haul that we get at D1 football and, college football in general, and I think it'd be about time to go ahead and talk about it so that you guys know really some of the positive sides of getting recruited and getting into these bigger schools. Because, I'm a bit different, and I like to do things a certain way. So, make sure to pay close attention. While gear is important and it's cool to look at, it's cool to have, you gotta be understanding that that's not the reason you play. This just straight up shouldn't be the reason you play. Now, if you look at a bunch of people and maybe why they went to college, you'll see that most of them didn't go just because of the color of the helmets or how many jerseys someone has or how many shoes they get upon arrival. They went because they want to win. If you go because you just want the gear or you want the jersey, you're straight up just not going to make it. Like, it's just that simple. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen this exact thing, and, those people aren't playing football anymore. They didn't get the kind of scholarships they wanted. They didn't make it on the team. Whatever have you, whatever the situation is, just know that that should not be the reason for you playing football. But man, is it cool getting free stuff. Now, that's not to say that it didn't take a whole lot of hard work to get here, to get all of this stuff. Now, college gear distribution is pretty specific to the time of year. Most of the time people will be able to get their gear usually in the summer or spring, usually sometime before fall camp and sometimes before winter ball or winter camp, whatever kind of spring camp you guys may have. For most people, it usually does come before fall camp, sometimes at the beginning of the new year, but sometimes before spring ball. Whatever time, your coach decides to give you the gear is when you'll get the gear. Now, another huge thing that not a whole lot of people understand is the gear you get is basically really dependent on who you're sponsored by. Maybe it's oversighting to say a lot of people don't get this, because actually now that I think about it, probably a lot of people do. But say you're sponsored by Nike, you're gonna get a good amount of stuff if they like you. And if you're sponsored by your local pizza place, you might not get a whole bunch of pizza shirts, but maybe you'll get pizzas, regularly throughout the year for your team meals or something. Now, that's not to say that your school can't allocate their funds differently to give you more stuff than what they really should be able to. You just have to take different hits to the budget somewhere else. And, over the course of all of my travels along all of my different schools, I've gotten a lot of different equipment. I've gotten a lot of different stuff from all my different schools, obviously. So me in particular, I've collected a lot of different gear off of all of the different schools that I've been to. Now, one thing that people really do talk about if you aren't in like college football or anything is that you can't actually wear certain things because of who your school might be sponsored by, at least at specific times. So, for example, if you're going through practice and you're on the field and people are wearing Nike socks, but you're sponsored by Adidas, or they're wearing a Under Armour undersleeve or something underneath their pads, the coach might legitimately ask you to go inside and change out of what you're wearing into something that they've given you. Now, I know what you're gonna say. Jarvis, I've seen a bunch of people, a bunch of athletes in particular, wear a bunch of brands that aren't what sponsors their school. Why can they do that? Basically, the reason is, at least the way it was at PSU, Portland State, was because you can only wear it during certain times. You have to wear certain clothing at certain times. So like if we were going to be on TV, or if it was game day and we were getting ready for the game, you could only wear certain clothes, and if you didn't, you'd pretty much be punished because they have certain deals, certain rules in their contracts as far as the sponsorship goes, where you aren't allowed to rep other brands essentially because you're giving them free branding, and that's not exactly what they want to do. That's not why that brand will give money to your school so that you can rep another brand. They want everyone wearing the same stuff, and basically it's just during certain times that you have to wear those very specific brands or else you get in trouble. Obviously, not all schools are going to be sponsored the same because of the different sizes that they may be at, or how big the school is, how good the school is. So different schools are going to give you different amounts of things. So for me, going to a D1 AA, going to a, relatively smaller D1 school gets me basically not as much as someone like going to Clemson would get per se, but still you get a lot of stuff usually, especially if you're there for like 4+ years. Now stick around to the end if you want to see a little montage of all of my different gear, and I'll pretty much showcase it to you guys so that you guys can see that. But all in all, you guys should not be choosing where you go to school because of the color of the helmets, how many different combinations of uniforms that they have, or any of that. You guys should not be choosing your school based on that. Choose it based on whatever fits you best and what puts you in the best situation moving forward. Man, it is hot out. I sure am thirsty. Nice. Alright, now listen. There's like 80-something% of you guys that aren't subscribed to me, and you guys watch my videos anyway. It's free to subscribe, guys. You can always do it. You can always unsubscribe in the future if you don't like my content. So if you would, it would help me out a lot if you go ahead and like this video and, you know, maybe subscribe to me. It's free. Like I said, I like to think I make some pretty fun stuff, and if you guys are interested in seeing more of that, hit that bell button too so you guys can get a notification when I do upload a video. Alright, my name is Jarvis, and I'll see you guys on the next one.